Well, right now, a D.C. judge is set to preside over an emergency hearing for Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. She is trying to stay in her job as President Trump tries to push her out. Welcome to a brand new hour of America's Newsroom. I'm Dana Perino. Good morning again.
Good morning to you as well. As usual, the first hour just flew by.
And again.
I'm Bill Malugin in for Bill Hemmer. The president called for Cook's removal over allegations of mortgage fraud. She responded by filing a lawsuit and a motion to temporarily block that move. And now a Biden-appointed judge is set to weigh in on all of it.
And the White House is digging in its heels for the legal fight that lies ahead with the case that could eventually work its way up again to the Supreme Court.
She hasn't been convicted yet of any crime. Is the administration opposed to allowing Ms. Cook to have due process to challenge what has been alleged against her?
I believe she is challenging it. I believe she just filed a lawsuit today. What I will say is that you had these mortgage receipts very clearly shown to the president, and he has the cause that he needs to fire this individual. He laid it out in the letter that he provided to her and to the public as well. And so we'll continue to fight this battle.
And Fox Business's Lydia Hu is joining us live outside the D.C. District Court. Lydia, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Bill and Dana. That's right. Judge Gia Cobb is the one who's going to consider Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook's request for that temporary restraining order. Cook wants to stay in her job as a governor at the Fed, while the underlying case, the merits, are considered by the court, and that process takes much longer. Just happening this morning, President Trump made a filing opposing the request for that temporary restraining order. He wants to just go ahead and move forward with her termination and removal. The Federal Reserve and Chairman Jerome Powell also made a filing. They're taking no position in this case. They're simply asking for a fast resolution. At the heart of the case is whether the allegations of mortgage fraud made by Federal Housing Finance Agency Director Bill Pulte amount to cause for Cook's termination. That statute, the Federal Reserve Act, allows a president to remove a Fed governor, but only when there is cause. Here, Cook stands accused but not charged of fraud, so she's calling the allegations, quote, thinly veiled pretext in an attempt to remove Governor Cook over her unwillingness to lower interest rates. But the White House, as you say, they are confident they're going to prevail. A spokesperson said this in a statement. The president determined there was cause to remove a governor who was credibly accused of lying in financial documents from a highly sensitive position overseeing financial institutions. Let's take a look at the broader context here and the makeup of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors. Currently, the 7-member board made up of 4 Democrat appointees, including Cook. You can see them here on the left. 2 Trump appointees, including a vacant seat that Trump will get to fill, seen on the right. So that means a successful removal of Cook would give President Trump another opportunity to make an appointment to the Fed Reserve and shift that balance 4 Trump appointees to 3. So wrapped up in this case, important legal issues as well as the balance and makeup of the Federal Reserve. We're going to follow it. I'll send it back to you for now.
All right. Yep. We'll see what happens with that hearing today. Lydia Hu, live in D.C. Lydia, thanks.
Shannon Bream is the anchor of Fox News Sunday and joins us now. And you can weigh in on this as well. I just want to read to you from Politico about Judge Cobb. It says the judge who will immediately weigh President Donald Trump's effort to fire Cook has already pushed back against one of his other signature efforts to expand presidential power, and that was mass deportation. So lots of these things bubbling up through the courts. How do you see this one?
Yeah, I think Dana and Bill, good to see you both, that this is something that I wouldn't be expected if a federal judge puts this firing on hold. We've seen that with a number of federal judges at this district court level. Goes through the appeals process. A lot of this has ended up at the Supreme Court on an emergency basis. And they have deferential preference a lot of times for the executive, for many of these employees or appointees, saying, listen, the president is the head of the executive branch. He should have some power to say who stays or goes. But in the case of these Federal Reserve governors, there is a clause that says it's got to be for cause. And I think the point was made early on. That's going to be the crux of the case, because whether there's not been a charge, there's not been a trial, will the court see that that's enough? Just the president's assertion that there are documents that prove his point, that there's something questionable going on. The fact that we have innocent until proven guilty, or, unless proven guilty in this country, I think probably weighs in favor of this federal judge deciding that Lisa Cook can stay in that job. We'll have to wait and see.
And Shannon, another thing we've been talking about today is this idea that both parties may now consider having what they're calling mini conventions sometime next summer before the midterms. Democrats said they're thinking about it. And then yesterday we had that post from President Trump saying he wants Republicans to do it. We had Speaker Johnson on with us last hour. He says he loves the idea. Take a listen.
I'm so excited about this. I said, Mr. President, let's go, because I think that would be such a great rallying point right before the midterm election for us to tout all the great successes we've had, to enjoy that. The president loves the idea of it. I do as well. We got to pick the right location, but look, I'm all for it. I am
historically, it's
100% convinced we are going to grow the House majority next year. Yes, we will.
Shannon, do you think a mini convention would be beneficial to both parties here? Get people an early look?
Yeah, you guys know we love covering these conventions. They're exhausting, they're expensive. It's a big thing for these cities to put them on, but very interesting because we know, having covered these many, many years, some of us more than others, Bill, I won't throw you in with the multiples, but Dana and I have done this, that parties get a bump. We know it could benefit D's and R's, and there's this whole issue of President Trump not being on the ballot in the midterms. Generally, they do not go well for the president in power or his party, but this time around, I think they want to rally the base to say, okay, President Trump's not on, but we need you to show up and turn out because his policies hang in the balance. If Democrats retake the House, which history would tell us they potentially would, if you stick with what history guides us to understand, that's going to be the end of the president being able to get a lot of things done. And the White House and other allies of the president warn it could mean another round of impeachments for him, too.
I mean, it's been almost a year that the Democrats, since the election of last year, and they just seem completely to have been rudderless. I would say that they're trying to land on some sort of tactic, and it's being like sort of very aggressive and trying to mimic Trump, but also trying to copy him on policy fronts like on crime, which ultimately might get some results. You're going to talk about crime this weekend on Fox News Sunday. Who do you have coming up?
We are U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro. Our audience will know and love her. I mean, listen, she's been a judge and been a part of law enforcement for decades, and there's been a huge crackdown here in D.C. Can it continue? Can it be exported to other cities? And there's a lot of unresolved foreign policy, Russia, Ukraine, Hamas, Israel. We're going to talk to GOP Senator Bill Hagerty, former ambassador himself, and Jake Auchincloss, a Democrat congressman out of Massachusetts, and we'll have you covered on all the stories of the weekend.
Shaping up to be a great show on Sunday. Thanks, Shannon. Have a good weekend.
You guys too.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.